Right then, Manchester United 1-1 FC Twente. Shocking performance. The way that ended for Manchester United, it was not what we expected going into the game. I think some of the players got to be looked at and questioned here. Bruno Fernandes, one of them. People saying sack Ten Hag, that's a reactionary statement. But honestly, the game, the way that it ended was horrible. The goal that we conceded was horrible. Bruno Fernandes taking a free kick from there was shocking as well, and I think Bruno's performance was horrible. FC Twente, listen, United only have themselves to blame. A lot of chances we should have went 3-0 up. I think Ten Hag substitutions again were wrong. And yeah, I think he did get a lot wrong. It's so disappointing. 85 minutes into the game, Manchester United only had 3 attempts on target, 1% an FC Twente player. We created a hatful of chances in the last 7 games, but we didn't really look like we knew what we were doing in today's games. I think Xerxes was very, very good, but to sum it up, it was a real boring performance. Listen, they deserve their point. It's just not the way you want to start the Europa League campaign. I think there were some positive though. I think in that first half we were absolutely brilliant, and we created a lot of chances. But after that, maybe 60th, 65th minute when they scored, that was shocking. I think Eriksen, he had just a typical Eriksen game where we talk about he can score a goal, but a mistake unaware, and that was unlike Eriksen. I think overall, very, very poor performance by United on the whole, and there's a lot to to analyse ahead of this game. But the performance wasn't to the highest standard, and it was a shambles for Manchester United from start to finish. I don't think we got enough right, and Erik Ten Hag's players didn't deserve to get the win. Ultimately, it was just poor, and yeah, I think Erik Ten Hag will have a lot to answer for and a lot to discuss in the next few games. We expected a 3-0 game, but we just didn't get that. I think Eriksen's performance today, as I said, was poor. The game worries me a lot. There was so many awful passes, poor choices and panic. You look at some of the mistakes we made, especially for that goal, was really, really poor. And we lost all the momentum. We didn't even keep a clean sheet. We didn't win the game. And we have to build again because we have a very, very tough game on the weekend against Spurs. So we've got to be careful. Listen, I think Amad Diallo was fantastic. There weren't as many patterns that we saw. I think the low going in midfield was a positive. But you look at FC Twente, they're a team we should be beaten. We're a team in the Eredivisie, and United struggled again. I think Ahmad was fantastic. I think the logo in the midfield was brilliant. But United just, yeah, we've won 8 of our last 20 matches. But Bruno Fernandes for me was one of the worst performances. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And again, very, very negative. You can see what it means for the Twente fans and players in that game. It was a big, big game for them. But the fact that United lost, it does feel like a loss. But it was poor decisions. Shocking by Ten Hag, shocking by Manchester United. But I'm sure, hopefully after the next game, there will be some positives going into that, because this today was, as I said, just a step back. The goal was brilliant. A great goal from Eriksen, just puts it in the top corner. But you look at some of the decision making was horrible. Ugarte, for me, looked a bit shaky today, if I'm honest with you. I think the midfield was alright in the whole, but Ugarte did look shaky. There was loads of gaps in midfield. FC Twente were countering on us. Obviously, Eriksen made the mistake. But when United do use that Delo in midfield, when you do put Delo in that midfield, it does leave that left back area open. Yeah, it's disappointing. FC Twente did have chances. I think it was even. it was even the way in terms of possession, but ultimately we didn't get enough right. I mean, we had a last chance to salvage a win, but Bruno Fernandes makes a silly decision to take a free kick. Like, it's these little things that honestly just didn't help us at all throughout the game, and I'm hoping this is just a one-off game and we can kind of forget about this, because it was a shocking performance from United. And listen, but when we did get a lot right, we also did get a lot wrong. And I think you look at the team, we talk about individuals and the player rating, but the overall team just simply was not good enough today. I think aggressively we weren't there. I think if you look at the players that had outstanding performances, I think defensively we were okay. There were moments where we were, for the goal, making rash challenges, but other than that it was pretty sound. Midfield, I think, was a bit open. Ugarte is going to look like taking a few games, kind of get into the thick of things, and I think he will probably need Casemiro or someone next to him. But where do you facilitate Manu? I think Manu next to him will probably help. Bruno, for me, you have to really consider about dropping Bruno now, because that performance today was abhorrent. It was one of the worst Bruno performances, bar Crystal Palace. 75% accurate passes, like, I just couldn't really use it. The decision, it just comes down to decision making, and Bruno Fernandes' decision making so far has been really, really poor. Some of the passes, I think Lisandro Martinez did that brilliant kind of bit of skill, passed it to Bruno. Bruno just made a mistake. So yeah, I think obviously we've got players coming back. I think Højlund, Mount, they can add. I think Garnacho, Manu, like, we have got players, better players, and players that will come into the team. But ultimately, based on this, we can't really take too many positives. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, I have to talk about him. That people are fuming with him. Yeah, I think, listen, it's difficult. I think the decision making though for Ten Hag, when you're 1-1 at the time, and you're bringing on Garnacho, that's fair enough. But don't put Bruno on, or you're bringing on Mount. Don't put Bruno on the right. Sub off Bruno, and it seems like Ten Hag has that sort of reluctance to take off Bruno Fernandes, which is very, very disappointing and ultimately not good enough for Manchester United. You have to take off your captain at some point where he's not playing well, and you have to make that big decision. But Ten Hag could not do that at all. But yeah, shocking. It's a game that we should be winning. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe.